Welcome back to Henry's Garage. This is steering column again, part 2, and in this episode, can you see it? Here we are. We sort out the steering column. We get the length right. Oh well, we do a bunch of stuff, and we'll see it all sorted, fits nicely, everything is good and tight, and yeah. So sit back, enjoy. Please like and comment, it really helps, gets the motivation going, gets me back out here, and come back to the next episode. Okay, I think this is going to be quite a short episode, so but for updates anyway. So a couple of people expressed concern about the steering column. One person specifically said the M6 nut bolt isn't strong enough to pull it down, and I didn't understand what they meant until I came out. And what I think they mean is that when you try to have I got any of this in camera? Not really. When you try to is that any better? I'm sorry about this. So when you try to put this on, actually it's the nut that you put on that tightens it down. Okay, on here, and you know, I was thinking, well, it's so hard to get off, the nut doesn't really do anything. Well, actually, yes, it does. The nut locks it down in the first place. After that, it might not do much, and it becomes a bugger to get off. You know, the wheel off simply because it's on so tight. But you need the nut to have the strength to do it in the first place. And what I had here isn't strong enough for it. So that's the first thing. So this isn't going to work anyway. So that was part one. Now the second bit people said is, you know, the length might be, and I had thought about this, and I tried to pull it out, but maybe it's been crushed in before, and it just needs pulling out again. Now I don't know how they're meant to work, but I thought that once they had gone in, they're not meant to come back out, to be honest. So over there, I'm going to try to set up my press to push it out, just for interest really. I can turn it, I can twist it, I just can't get it to go that way at all. So I can get this flat bit, you know, so it's on the other side and it's rounded and all of that. So it is moving, this top half here is moving in this bottom half, all right, but it won't go that way. So I just thought for interest I would do that to see what it looks like. Now I can't find a second-hand or a new upper steering column. If anyone knows where I can get one, so I've looked on Rob Sport, James Paddock and Brimmer. I've done an eBay search. I can't find one. Maybe it's the same as another car, or close enough, I don't know, but if anyone's got any advice, that'd be great. Okay, so I've got my typically robust setup in place. We're now just going to see if we can see any movement, and if we do, I expect it to be around here, so we should see the top going up. So what I've done is just underneath here there's a bracket. Let's cut that. And you can see I've put this on. Okay, so this is where there's the cutout, and so I've just got that on, and hopefully that will be enough to hold it in place. I'm assuming I'm going to wreck this anyway, so we can just see what happens. So I've not seen any movement here. I can feel pressure. Oh no, there we go. There's the movement there. Right. Now, how much it should come out, I don't know. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so well, it's coming quite a long way. That would certainly, I'm fairly certain, be enough to get the wheel on, steering wheel, up there, and I can feel it stopping there. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So the question really is, can I fix the thread at the top in some way to allow this to work? I realised that the reason that I'd hit the end is because my bolt was banging on the end of the steering column. Ooh. Like that. So that's why I wasn't going any further. So it could well come further, but you can see how much it did come right there. So we got probably 1 inch, which would probably be just about enough. Might need a little bit more. So I need to think about if I've got any way of fixing this end here. So I've refitted the steering column, and you can see I can get the steering wheel on now, which is nice. I can even sit here and pretend to drive. The issue I've got, so I've put it on as I described, and you can see hopefully that movement. And I didn't do this nut up, this screw up any tighter, because I'm afraid I'm going to lose the head on it. And so that's clearly not enough. I'm just going to take it off now and have a look at how far it actually did go on, and how much of the you know, how much it is onto the splines, because if it's on the splines I'm surprised it's moving like that, but that did feel like it's the wheel moving rather than column. Oh yeah, it's not in very far. So let me just grab the camera and some light and show you. So there we can see it. Actually, it's not too far off in onto the splines. And why is it moving? Yeah, but you can definitely see it's the wheel is moving as opposed to the steering column. So it's not on far enough. So although it is gone in so that it's now level with the splines. Well, I don't know what that means. I'm going to manually try to pull it. I'm going to switch you off. I'm going to see what it's like pulling it off. Right, so for now I'm going to leave this on here, all right, until I have a solution of some kind. Whether that be I've managed to find a steering column I'm happy with or something else, I don't know. What I'm going to do tomorrow though, is I think to make this fit, I think I could unscrew this, take the plastic off the back, yeah, and I think I could then with a Rimmel or something cut this off, this plastic bit, and make the gaps in it. I mean, before I cut it, I want to check that that metal will go over the steering wheel, over these over these bits of it here. Now if they do, then I should be able to cut that plastic back and increase those notches just a little bit, so that this will then fit on here, because it won't have all of this bit in the way, and so the wheel would fit back in and inside there. And that would then make this, I think, usable. And similarly the other side, because the other side just bolts on here. When I do have it squeezed on there, I've tested the the guard around here, and it does allow the switches to work. Now I was holding it in place manually, so that would need a better test, but I think that will work. So I'm going to just run through that tomorrow, I think, to see if I can sort that out. I've mentioned before that these are not TR7 stalks for the power. So before I did anything on them, I just wanted to test that they actually will fit. Okay, so they fit within the box. They will do all their movements. Okay, so I need to change this plug in order to progress. But the other problem I've got here is this. And so this plastic bit that sticks out comes out much further than it would appear to on a TR7. But what I need to know is how far I need to cut it back. So I'm actually going to take the steering column off again. I'm going to see if I can extend it further before I do anything else. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't cut any of that plastic, because the steering column does extend a lot further, so you can see that this is now on nicely. If I do that, then we've got self-cancelling all working. I haven't got battery in at the moment, so I do need to replace this end. And the other problem I've got is I don't have another steering column, and so trying to get this to fit on, I mean that's on pretty well, but not well enough, don't get me wrong. But when I try to screw this on, as I was doing before, it occurs to me that it gets stopped by the this nut here catching on the column, so it never really goes in all the way. And so I do have a problem where I can't get it accurate enough, and I've been trying to think about how I could do that. And I don't have a solution yet, but until I have a permanent solution for this, as in I find a replacement steering column, I am stuck with what I've got. So that's what I'll be working with for the time being. Okay, so here we are underneath the steering wheel, and these here are the wires from the right hand stalk, which had the wrong kind of connections on, so I've taken and converted the connections on both the Wayne wiring loom end on the stalk loom, and I think those are all good. I've checked them all, and so I'm now going to take the bonnet off, fix up the battery, and see if my wipers work. It's a little over a week and a half since I've been out here. I didn't get around to checking if the wipers work. The reason I didn't get around to it is because it occurred to me that my fuses are in a mess, and so I needed to wait for that to arrive. So in here I've got, well, a whole bunch of stuff to little bits like Should be a brake pressure valve, but some fuses and, you know, some bits that are missing, and I think maybe some bits I can do the doors. But I've also got this, and before I open up this, I'm going to just cut away and show you something else, and then I'll come back to this. I get very worried about buying things on eBay. Been looking for a Triumph TR7 steering column, and this is what is being sold. And as you can see, looking at that end, that is not a TR7 steering column. Might look okay from this side, but at this end it should have just splines going into a universal joint. So I won't be getting that. Okay, so it's currently raining outside, and so I don't fancy getting the stag out. So I'm just doing this on the boot of the TR7. And you've seen why I might be a bit nervous about whether I've got the right thing. But I think I have managed to find on the web a brand new steering column from a guy called Mick Dolphin. And he has a collection of fairly rare to find parts still, and he has new ones. So he packed this up for me, and hopefully it will be what I'm after. So let's have a look. Well, that was a beautifully wrapped piece. So let's have a look at this. So, I mean, I've got a spare one of these now because I clearly don't need both. All I really wanted was this central bit. And that does look pretty good. So, I'm going to need to get myself a new bolt for the end. It didn't come with one of those, which is a shame. But it seems to have everything else I'm going to need. So, I'm not going to fit it today. I'm going to hold off for better weather. And we'll go from there. Gosh, there we go. And we'll go from there with it. Okay, so as you can see, I got the new steering column in. The wheel goes on much nicer. I haven't got a nut on there at the moment. That's because I changed the thread on that nut, you can see just there. And I didn't get a new one. This car though has the same nut, so I'm going to just take it off there. I'm going to put it on to tighten that down and just make sure everything's okay with it, and then I'm going to work from there. There we go. So that's on, and that's nice and firm now, so we've got no wobble. Okay, in there, so that's good. So I'm going to move that nut back to the Stag, and I'll have to get one for this car. It also needs a washer there. I know I haven't done the electrics yet, but I'm going to come back to that for the the wiper, and I'm going to call this episode done. And there we have it. So the steering column is in, the steering wheel fits just fine, so we can move on to other things. Please, if you got this far, do like, subscribe, click the notifications so you know about next episodes. Really does help me with my kind of motivation for keeping going and doing this. It gets me back out here all the time, even after long breaks. So, yep, hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.